and welcome to Promodeller. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our weathering wash that we do. Basically, comes in 6 colours. You've got the black, a light dirt, a dark dirt, a mud brown, a sand colour and a rust colour. Now all of these are clay based, which means you're not going to have any problems with toxins and things like that. There is no sort of any type of chemical in there that's going to hurt your paintwork and bits and pieces like that. The wash can be used over any surface you like. It doesn't have to be a gloss finish. It works equally well over a satin and a flat finish as it does over a gloss. 2 things you have to remember. The surface of the actual paintwork has to be somewhat smooth, because otherwise if it's rough it's going to get caught in the pigment of the actual paint itself. And secondly, it has to be completely dry, otherwise the water, because these are basically water based, is actually going to help dissolve perhaps and mix in with the coat underneath. So perhaps if it's had a coat of Johnson's Clear, something like that, it will eat its way into there. Now there's 2 ways you can put it on. You can put it on with a brush. This one here has just been brushed on, or you can load it up into your airbrush, because it's completely airbrush safe. So we've got here some black just straight out of the bottle. It doesn't need to be thinned or anything else like that. Any air pressure, doesn't matter, because it goes on just like a water, and you can literally just spray it on to your model any way you like. As I say, heavy, soft, doesn't matter. But what you can do, if you wanted to do it as a type of weathering, you can gently build it up stage by stage, because it'll dry, because it's clay based, it dries just like clay, and you can build them up in dirty layers. So if we show you, obviously we've just done that one there. I've already put a couple of coats onto this tank here. We've got the bottom of an Abrams here, but the same thing. This was sand colour just to start with. We're just coming on with the black. I've just gone over it, just put a drop more in the colour cut there. Of the tank, just doing the wheels, bits and pieces up behind here, and you can just put it all over your vehicle. Now it doesn't matter if you used to leave this on for literally 20 minutes and let it dry, or 20 months. It actually doesn't matter at all, because what happens is it dries on and will just sit there until then it's rehydrated and wiped away, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so it's all now totally dry. It's a couple of little wet spots, but we're not really worried about those. This is over a totally dead flat finish. You know, it had a couple of coats of flat, so you know it's pretty much a very rough. If you try this, certainly with a sort of an oil wash, things like that, you're not going to get it off. As you can hear, it's very, very rough. So what you can actually do, dry piece of cloth here, if you just give it a rub, you're not going to take much off at all, because it is over this such a dead flat finish. But what you can do is start by literally just rubbing it. You can almost act like dry brushing, like we're getting down here, and you can just literally go around and do various bits of weathering if you wanted to do it sort of heavy weathering, just like that. Now the more you wet the cloth, obviously the more you'll take off. So if we just moisten it a bit, we just rub a bit off on my hand, you can actually act like dry brushing now, and we just pop all over, absolutely everywhere with it here. And as you might be able to see, it's acting a bit like dry brushing, because little things are now showing up. Okay, round we go, absolutely everywhere. And if we do round the back here, as you can see on here, we can just pop around, giving it a bit of a rub everywhere, and it's acting, as I say, like that dry brushing technique. So there we go, we're getting this type of effect, which there again, quite a nice, if you wanted heavy weathering, be absolutely fine. Now what we'll do is, we'll just then cut now, just turning over the cloth, make it a little bit wetter. And then all we're going to do is just pick out little centres of panels everywhere with quite a bit of wet. You know, it's quite damp. Okay, so all we do, and then obviously we're taking more off. So what you can actually do then is just rub those all over and join them up, and just pop in between the panels and the various bits and pieces as you go around your entire model, and just literally having fun now and wiping away any way you want to. And obviously we get nice type of weathering effects just like that. So you just work absolutely everywhere you want to. So you can take off quite a bit just like that, and then just cut to dry, and you can blend it then, because what will happen is it will catch with stuff around it, and you can sort of blend it, add a little bit of dirt to it, take bits of dirt away as you want it to go. And that's the beauty with it, because if you overdo it, like here, perhaps we've taken too much off, we can come along, put a little bit more dirt wash or the black wash or any other colour wash you wanted to over the top, let it dry, and just start again. So we just take bits and pieces off all round here to sort of just blend this all in. As I say, you just wet and rub. And it is the thing, because we've got this area here. If we wanted to, and we wanted to really clean it up, we just wet it a lot, and we can take it completely off and be back down to the normal colour like we've done there. Completely, very, very quick, very, very easy. But by obviously the amount of moisture you use will be the amount that's taken off. Obviously it is sort of better to use a good quality kitchen towel to actually get it off, because otherwise if you're not, they do tend to fall apart. So same thing, just down the side here, if you wanted to sort of streaking, you just wet it quite heavily and dab it, and you can get sort of, brushing marks a bit like this going up the side. There again, you don't like it, you can literally just come along and clean it all totally off. If you wanted to add to it, obviously you can just pop along with a brush. We just add a little black, pop it on the side, let that dry, and we can start again. Or you can just pop it on with the airbrush, or whichever way you wanted to do it. So if we just do down here, as you can see, it's pulled nicely around all the gear around the bottom, as it does in real life. But as I say, we'll just go along, and we're going to lightly rub some of this off because it's a little bit too heavy down the bottom areas. Just like that. And then obviously we can come along in a moment, as we will, with a bit of sand, and we're going to blow sand over all of this just to lighten it up a little bit. But we'll just pop over these wheels, and we can just clean them up a little bit on the edges, just like that. As you can see, all of those bits and pieces, and we'll just clean up here just a little bit more. But as you see, you can get some very, very nice weathering effects. And this isn't just for armour, you can work with this with buildings, railroads, cars, anything you really wanted to do. It works well on helicopters, on aircraft, say especially sci-fi, because you can really go to town with it and give it any type of effect you like. But there we go, that's a very fast, quick, easy way to do it. Now if you were to do that with pastels, it would take a long, long time, but obviously with the weathering wash, straight over the top, and then just rub it round, and we get that type of effect very, very quickly. Now what we can do, if we take a little bit of the sand here, and we'll just pop this on here like that, then what we'll do, we'll just literally grab the airbrush, we'll just turn it on because we want quite a high pressure. Okay, and then we're just going to pour straight into the bottle, just like this. Okay, we just check it coming through, sandy. There we go, as I say. And all we're going to do is just flow along this bottom part with the sand colour. And we'll just do over here. Got that wet part at the beginning around the front, and we'll just pop over a few little areas on the tank itself, plenty around the back, plenty on the treads. As you can see, the sand working on the treads just like it does. More down these sides, front, just everywhere with the sandy colour all over it. Okay, then we're just going to cut to air, and we're going to dry this off a little bit. And what will happen is it will come back extremely dusty, and that's what we're looking for here, to give it that sort of nice dusty desert look. But as you can probably see now, it's drying. So hopefully it will have that nice dusty look right on the top of everything else. And just dry down these tops. And as the clay naturally dries, because, let's face it, it is mud at the end of the day, it will hopefully dry nicely back. And there we go, that gives us our very nice dusty looking tank straight away, just like that. That simple, that easy, that quick.